So with this, ladies and gentlemen, let me take you to another panel discussion, equally very important and very powerful discussion. And it's a very important sector, in fact, of the education industry, which is the early childhood and the preschool sector. And we are going to speak over here about how women edu leaders in India have led their institutions through the pandemic. I understand how the difficult situation, especially for the preschools and this segment has been. But let us hear out what this wonderful panel speakers are going to speak. Over here, let me introduce the eminent speakers for the day. With that, Meenal Arora, she is the Director, Shamrock Shamford Group of Schools. Welcome, Meenal ji, to this forum today. She will be moderating the session.
Yeah, thank you.
We welcome Ms. Sneha Rathore, CEO, Sanford Group of Schools. Welcome, Sneha. We welcome Sunita Jainji. She is the CEO and Director, Hello Kids. Welcome, Sunita Jainji.
Thank you so much.
Anamika Anjaria, the founder and director, Rangoli Group of Institutions. Welcome, Anamika ji. Achha, we got a message from Anamika, maybe due to some reasons she's not able to join us. We have Ms. Preeti Kawatra, founder and director, Petals Group of School. Welcome, Preeti ma'am.
Thank you so much.
And Preeti Tyagi, she's the founder and director of Wow Kids Preschools Chains. Welcome, Preeti Tyagi ji. So, let me have the privilege, to introduce the moderator for the day, Meenal Arora. She is the director of Shamrock and Stamford Group of Schools and is an entrepreneur, author, and parenting expert. Her pioneering efforts in maintaining equality while growing the chain of the national, international levels for past 2 decades have become the benchmark of this sector. Dr. Arora is past graduate from SRCC, Delhi University, and doctoral researcher in education leadership in University of Nottingham, UK. She has been awarded with many accolades and achievements. It is an honor and privilege, Meenalji, along with all the eminent speakers for the day, to hear you out in this panel discussion. So over to you, Meenalji.
Video and your audio didn't come.
Audio on you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Yes?
Absolutely.
Good. Yes.
Good afternoon and welcome to today's session on a very, very important topic. A topic which is of great concern to both the parents and the educators because it relates to the learning of children in the early years in the pandemic times. As we all know that the early childhood sector was one of the very first sectors to have been closed down on the news of coronavirus, even before the government had announced a complete lockdown for the entire nation. Since then, to revive the economy, the government has slowly and steadily been opening almost all the sectors. But as we know, for the safety reasons of the children, the preschool and the early childhood care centers are still shut down, and probably it is going to be one of the last sectors to open. But what we need to realize here is that COVID could not possibly shut down the insatiable curiosity of a 2-year-old child. What COVID cannot shut down are the hundreds and thousands of questions these small children ask all day long. And what COVID cannot shut down is their love for dancing, singing, art and craft, in short, their love for learning. And this is precisely the reason why so many of the preschools had worked tirelessly to launch their online and offline learning programs, just to keep these little minds constructively busy and learning. Despite this intention, the preschool industry currently is facing a lot of challenges, which comes from integrating the new technology and then training everyone, the teachers, the parents, the school owners, into how to use that technology for a smooth transition, then training all the teachers in the new pedagogy, then counseling parents into accepting the new ways of teaching and learning, helping them overcome their resistance of accepting online learning as an alternative to classroom learning. Isn't it? Lots and lots of challenges, and it is endless. In fact, I feel perhaps this is one of the most challenging times that any sector, any industry, any organization could have anticipated. But it is in times like these that the true character of a leader can be tested. And as educators, as directors, as principals, as teachers, we are all leaders of our schools and of our classrooms, isn't it? And although we are all sailing in the same boat, but each one of us in the past few months have had our own journey, our own share of struggles, our own learnings, and our own successes. So today's session presents an excellent opportunity, a platform for all of us to share our learnings, our ideas, our experiences, so that we can all benefit from each other. I'm sure after today's session, each one of us will feel much more empowered and much more equipped to deal with the months ahead. So I begin today's session by asking my first question to Preeti Kawatra. So Preeti ma'am, my first question to you is, what was your initial reaction when you first heard that preschools and schools are not going to be functional in the coming months? I'm talking about the time in March and April when the first news broke out.
Yes. Hello and very good evening to each and every one of you. I'm feeling so grateful that technology has taught us and we all can meet again and again on different conferences, on Zoom calls, on this kind of a panel. And thank you, Chandanji, for giving us this opportunity so that we all can share our struggles, so that everybody whomsoever is listening to us can understand that they are not alone in this time. This is such an unprecedented time where everybody has come together. And yes, I think everybody is trying their level best to achieve more and give best to the children. Everybody on their part. Okay, now your question that initially how we have reacted to that. I think as a leader, we all understand that we need to respond to every kind of situation rather than reaction. So yes, in the March, it is a setback that we have got the lockdown, and this kind of this coronavirus is becoming a community spread, and because of that, schools are going to remain closed for a longer period of time. We have taken a very few but good initiative, and we can say we have worked quite proactive as a proactive preschools, that we have taken this as a challenge, and we have find this thing that technology is already a integral part of our preschools. So we have taken technology as an asset at this point of time, and we have converted one thing which is a challenge also, and it is a boom also for us in this period, that we have taken our teachers into our confidence and we have given them a training. We have converted all classroom based content into online content, right? And because it is new for, as it is new for us, it is new for parents, it is new for teachers. We have taken parents also, we have given them training also, because it is a very challenging for a preschool child to sit in front of a screen at least even for a 30 minutes. Initially it was a very big hiccup and a challenge for us. Then we have counseled, we have met our parents again and again. Even myself has gone into a lot of parenting seminar with all the branches pan India, where we have made the parent understood that now this is a time we have to accept this situation, and we have to begin our new session with this also. In April 7th, we have promised our parent that we will begin our session, and by God grace, everything went well. Teacher trainings and a lot of parenting seminar. And yes, we have done a lot of Zoom meeting because that was a time when there was a complete lockdown. You cannot go to your office and collect your material. You have to manage whatever is available to you, whatever is available in your laptop, whatever knowledge you have here. So we have done a lot of Zoom meeting, and on 7th April, we have started our new session with very challenging and a lot of confusion in our mind. But yes, our parents have supported us, our teachers have supported us, everything is going well. Yes, parents still saying our children are not ready to sit in front of a screen. They are showing a lot of tantrums. They feel hungry. They want to go to the potty as soon as teacher come in front of the screen. Yes, we are facing all these challenges, but things are going smoothly. Now I think every one of us has started adopting the situation, and things are going great. Minal ji, we can't hear.
Yeah, Preeti, I think you've given a great start to today's session. I would want Sunita Jain to continue with this discussion as to how have you gone about motivating and guiding your teachers, your parents into accepting the new ways of teaching and learning in COVID times.
Good afternoon, everyone. Part of this, like I know almost everyone personally, and
Sunita, you're not really audible. If you can adjust your mic and if you can come a bit closer to your mic, probably.
good afternoon, everyone. Is that okay right now?
Yes, much better than before.
So I'm feeling really great to be a part of this session, which is for early childhood sector of. I mean, this industry is really affected so much on this pandemic. Almost every sector is affected, but how we have handled this situation, because for here the kids are very young, they are of 2 to 6 years. So initially the concept of online education was not that acceptable to the parents, for especially for the nursery and LKG students, because they think that is for a smaller period of time and it's not required to be a part of the online education in the initial time. So in the in the second week of March, I think the lockdown has started, all the schools were closed. But the first thing is that it was end of the session for 2019-20. So that was one of the positive side, that we were already covered all the sessions. I mean, all the curriculum part was already covered. Only we were about to end the session. So we got some time to think about it, how to handle the situation. And then we started with training with the preschool owners, all the Hello Kids owners, and the teachers, parents, everyone all together. On a daily basis, we used to talk to them to be positive, how to go about it, what kind of sessions we can do right now. We need to reach to our students and parents immediately, even if it's the end of the session, even if the summer vacations are starting. But the main point is that the kids are completely locked down inside a house. They are within the four walls of the house. They don't have any interaction outside world. And as a school owner, as a their school teachers and all, how we can support them. So that is the first thing which we thought, that we have to reach to our kids. And we were the first few schools who started this online engaging sessions by end of the March itself. And it was not academic sessions or something. We were doing just life skill sessions. We are doing many experiential learning sessions on a daily basis, so that the technology which we are about to start by the month of June or July, the parents and teachers both will be acquainted to it. They'll be very much comfortable. Kids will also develop some interest, and that kind of patience they can develop by these 2 months. That is one of the actions which we have taken. At end of the March itself, we have started our sessions, and we used to give, like, trainings were given to the teachers on a daily basis before the sessions. Our trainers were giving everyday training to teachers before they start their sessions, because teachers were very, very, very uncomfortable. They were not getting that confidence that yes, we can do this. because the technology is completely new to them. They were 100% confident inside the classroom, but online sessions, yeah, it's totally new to them. So how to get that confidence on within these teachers? So for that, I used to give trainings in a daily basis for continuously for 1 month.
Yeah, I can see that a lot of effort and energy has gone into getting all the stakeholders on board. And it's easier said than done. I know it is not an easy journey for all of you. So my next question is to Preeti Tyagi that, most people are really resistant to change, isn't it? It's a human nature to resist change. And I'm sure, besides the parents, the biggest resistance must have come from the teachers because they're used to a certain way of teaching and learning for many, many years now. And within a span of a week or two, we expected them to understand a new technology and then be an expert in delivering their matter on this new vehicle, which was foreign to them around 2 weeks back. So this was too much to ask for. So I'm not really talking or asking about the technical trainings that you were giving to the teachers. My question is around how were you making up the mental makeup, the psychological makeup, because we have to just not be technically ready for a circumstance like this. It is a very big pressure or stress, a mental stress of adapting to new environments. So how did you go about counseling people around you, especially the teachers?
That's an amazing question. Meenal, am I audible to everybody?
Yes, excellent.
Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. To answer the question, Meenal, you're absolutely right. It was a very big surprise, come shock, come confusion for everybody that, how things are going to go now. Because as preschool teachers, we are very comfortable and we are trained to teach in a classroom environment where I can touch the toys and I can give it to children. Children can experience it, they play and they learn. So definitely it was a very, very new expectation from teachers. How we addressed it at Wow Kids is, I touched base, 15th March is when we concluded our session, as we could anticipate that it has started in India. So 15th March, once we were done, I believe we took 2 weeks to understand how things are going. And it was pretty clear by the beginning of April that it is going to stay. So the first thing which we did is we got on a call with all the teachers. And we first of all explained that this is not something looking at, obviously we had the data from January to March, how is it spreading across the planet. So we could anticipate that it's not going to go so quickly. So we set the expectation with our teachers first that when we know it's going to stay, and when we know that we might need to embrace technology, though some of them were very comfortable with it and some of them were scared to even try it out. It took us, I would not say too much, but we gave it a trial with all the teachers. Some of them picked up pretty well. And we made videos and, they will send the videos to me and I will share my feedback, where to put the video, where should the light come from, how fast you need to speak, how loud you need to speak. Okay, if you're showing an activity, how do you show it to children? Because you are not in front of children, but you have to, you have to feel that you are in the classroom and children are looking at you. So, how you need to speak so that children feel connected when, as if teacher is right there talking to me. So, we had to do that numerous. It's countless how many times we had to share the feedback. But I'm very proud of my team because they came up the learning curve pretty quickly. And I would say we are still learning. Even today, there is something or the other which we pick up as a feedback from a live call. And I quickly have a call with my team and we incorporate for the next day. But for this time period, I believe sharing regular feedback and the way it happens in every team, not everybody is an artist. So in a team, we quickly understand, as I know the strength of my team. So somebody was very comfortable in front of the camera, somebody who is brilliant with arts, but doesn't want to face the camera. So I was like, it's absolutely cool. So you give the ideas, you do the, the artwork and everything, which needs to be shown in the, video. And my other teacher, who's very comfortable, will be presenting it. So we took the strength of each teacher, where they contributed to their best of abilities, and we started the online session. We started with the summer fun in May, and till now it's going amazingly well. So I believe making the most of every teacher's strength and showing them, and believe me, today each of our team member says that it was so brilliant that we went ahead with it, because today they are a different teacher. They are different people. They are so comfortable with technology that I told them that by in 2021, you will be like, you will be like the cream of preschool teachers. You can teach in the class, you can teach online, you can engage 70 to 80 children through a computer screen. You're brilliant. And that is what our teachers have achieved. So that's how we went, Meenal, and it's going great.
It's good to hear, Preeti, because we ourselves have gone through this journey, and I know what it takes. You have to be convinced within yourself to be able to convince people around you. And that confidence comes only when you have invested in teachers training in the past, and you've had this kind of relationship and rapport with your teachers. So very well done. And I'm sure other people in the panelists must have been on the same road. My next question is to Sneha, and I would want to continue what Preeti Kawatra mentioned. She mentioned that the parents were quite hesitant, and even today are, when it comes to their children sitting in front of the screen, especially a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, for online classes. So my question to you is that, has it had an effect on the enrollment of children vis-a-vis, how they were coming to the physical classrooms, to online learning platforms? What has been the shift, and how have you addressed it in your schools?
Thank you so much, Meenal, for the question. And thanks a lot for this beautiful panel. So coming back to the question, I think, yes, of course, it has been quite a difficult time for all of us to cope up with, because it's absolutely a new challenge for all of us. Every day is a new struggle. Something new pops up in the media, and it changes all the dynamics for us. There was a time when, of course, giving online classes was a big challenge. But there were times when the government said that you can't give online classes for more than half an hour. You absolutely cannot give online classes to preschools. So especially for a preschool sector, it has been quite a roller coaster ride throughout the lockdown period. And because of which, of course, we have seen like a major shift in terms of enrollment, if I talk about, because of course, when the schools were running properly, especially in metropolitans, the preschools, the parents are quite informed. They love to send their kids to preschools. They want to send them. They know the importance of early years. But of course, right now, due to all this online thing going on during the pandemic, a lot of parents have backed out because either they're not wanting to let their child exposed to the screen for such a long time, or even if they are allowing the child is not settling in. So there are various factors that come into place. But also gradually what I have noticed is down the line, now even the parents and the children are getting comfortable with the screen learning. So now also, because now the child also knows, the 3-year-old also knows कि मेरी मैम जो है इस स्क्रीन पे आती है, मेरे फ्रेंड्स इसी स्क्रीन पे दिखाई देते हैं, this is how I communicate. So now they're quite comfortable with it. they wait to see their friends, they wait to do all the activities, because I could see all the preschools are putting so much of hard work in creating a very, very innovative online curriculum. And on that note, of course, as Miss Preeti Tyagi, she talked about how teachers have played an important role. On that, I would like to add something. I think something that I've noticed in this pandemic is that the teachers have become entrepreneurs themselves. Every day they're doing something new and they're struggling with it. I saw during the lockdown when you couldn't order anything, you were just in lockdown. The teachers, to adjust their cameras, they were using their kitchen dabbas to keep the phones and adjust it, and so much of hustle that they have gone through it to put everything together just for the education of these little ones. So of course it has been a really tough time and we're still coping up with it, but slowly and gradually we are getting accustomed to it. That's what I would like to say. Yeah, I mean, of course, one very important thing is that we are still not sure what is going to happen in the end. When is it going to end? When the kids will come back to school? Probably every day when we join the classes, and the child asks, one of the children asks us, ki ma'am, hum school kab aayenge? When are we going to see you? So this is something that we wait for, that those little ones coming to the school and we giving them that love and that experiential learning that we wait to give. So yeah.
Well, I think all of you have, expressed your initial reactions beautifully, because each one of us, myself included in the audience, can relate to what you were saying. And we ourselves at Shamrock and Chelmsford, we knew right in the second week of March that this is going to go for a long time. And what really helped our group was that we were already researching about a hybrid model for the last 1 year, and were piloting in some of our schools. I don't know for what reason. It's like we were preparing a vaccination as if it was to come our way. So when this struck, we immediately got into action. And on 3rd of April, we started to train all our branches onto the new platform. By 6th of April, we started giving our classes on the new technological platform, which was already, and I really congratulate you, because we were researching already, but there were so many preschools which had to think on the go of which vehicle they have to use, which technology they have to use to reach out to the children, and to research and to be able to train everyone on that technology in such a short span of time, and then getting them on board with all their willingness and happiness and excitement, so that they can give their best to our children. So a commendable job done by all of you. All of you have been doing online learning, teaching and learning for I think now 9 months or 6 months, something like that. And I'm sure over the past few months, you've had your own learnings with respect to what works, and most importantly, what doesn't work. So we'd like to know from each one of you, if you could throw light on what has really worked in online learning, and which you feel is like a boon in the situation, and what you think is still not a replacement for a classroom learning, and we're really waiting for it to go back to to our preschools. So we can begin with Preeti Kawatra. If you can talk a bit about the merits and the demerits of online learning for preschoolers. You're not audible. Yeah, right.
Yes. I'm audible now? Yeah. Yes, Meenal. Wow, question. Because at this moment of the time, I think everybody is waiting. We're praying to the God on this Diwali also, on festival, that please end up this corona, right? Because everybody on this planet is suffering a lot. I think the most important, creature who is suffering a lot is a little one, because it is very important for a little one to interact, with others for the social developments. In my house itself, my brother is having a 2-year-old son. His son is not ready to interact with anyone because it's being almost a year he's in the house. He only knows mama. Come here, mama. You take this, mama. I want to hug you, mama. Everything is mama. He don't know outside world. So it is a very very challenging and the very pity situation for a little one. For them only I am praying school should open. And if you come to the merits and demerits, I will say this coronavirus time has taught one thing and proof one thing, that if you want something you can achieve that. Our teachers really want to teach our students, so they have gone in everybody's houses. So this teachers has proved that with the right kind of training and intention, we can achieve anything. The second merit is that if you really want to engage the children, you need to think out of the box. High order thinking skills actually help the teachers to engage the children. It is a key. Teachers have think actually out of the box, that how they can teach animals colors if they don't have the equipments at the place. In school we provide them a lot of teaching aids, but at home also they have done such a beautiful task that even parents are appreciating. We have done online fancy dress competition, we have done online rhyme competitions, and we have done online story dramatization. Teachers have used their dupattas for the waves, teachers have used their socks for the fishes. All this creativity and high order thinking is actually helping the teachers to just to prove that teaching can happen and learning can happen not only in the classroom but anywhere wherever you want. And the biggest demerit is that we cannot see the smile of our children, we cannot hug them, we cannot give them the feel factor, because for the holistic development you need all these also. For social emotional development, you should know that I have to share my toy with my friend. If my friend is snatching rajma from my plate or snatching spoon from me, how can I have to help myself? For social emotional development, which is actually affecting this period. The children, those who don't know how to adjust in the group of 15 and 20 students, that is actually disturbing us. When these children will directly go to the class nursery, somewhere or the other, it will affect, because they need to restart for their social development. When 3-year-old child directly go to the nursery class, I think we all can understand how much different the child is from the child who has already attended a 1 year of preschool. So this is a challenge which we can actually think of now. So we are preparing ourselves, we are trying our level best, because I think people have started coming out a little, but parents are still in a dilemma that we should take it out the children out or not. But we are suggesting parent, please help your child, that so that your child should know how to interact with adults and the strangers also. Try to have a one meal together with all the family members, and your child should know how to share the meal. You should play with the toys of the children, because new session is about to begin and most of the parents are not ready to give the gap year for their children. So this is a demerit which I can feel and my teachers can feel, and we are preparing our parents also for the same. This is my takeaway.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
would
very
like
nice.
to add something to it, to what Preeti ji just said. I think, as you said very correctly, that social and emotional drawback is something that we are majorly facing right now. It is being greatly hampered right now
Yes.
in early years, because we see uh, the parents coming back to us and telling us that either my child has become so quiet at home, my child used to be so talkative, but now my child doesn't talk, because there's a huge personality change in him or her, because they're not able to interact with their friends or with their teachers, and they're not getting that social kind of space. So that has been hampered, and in cases we have also seen that the children are becoming hyperactive as well, because their physical energy is not being consumed. So they're becoming so hyperactive that they're not being able to really control their activities. I mean, these are something that majorly are being noticed at home by the parents.
Yes.
So I think that's a very, very big drawback. Whatever that we try to do through this one screen, this is something we are just not able to fill in, apart from, whatever the innovations that we are doing. For that, we
Like us, our parents are also waiting for the schools to
Yes,
reopen.
because whole world is around only parents and grandparents. They don't know the strangers. They don't know how to adjust with the strangers for social development and for the emotional strength of any child. This is a very important factor which actually plays a lot once they will grown up, because 80% of the brain is growing. Brain is growing and learning altogether.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the views, Sunita. How have your schools kind of dealt with this kind of the demerits, so as to say, which have been very nicely pronounced by these two lovely ladies? How have you? Because we have to work on every platform has its positives and its negatives. How are you trying to overcome it until the time the schools reopen? How are you trying to address this issue?
Yeah, that is the main concept which we should discuss right now. We know that because of this coronavirus, these are the social and physical development of the child. The interactions are, they are getting problem. They are not able to come to the school environment because for the 2 years to 6 years child, the parents send their child to preschools for this kind of development. They don't want their child to learn ABCD or 1 to 10. They want the child to go and mix up with other 10 students or 15 students. They should interact with the teachers. They should be go out of their comfort zone of the house to a new environment. So this was the concept of preschools earlier. But now when this lockdown is going on and maybe for the whole session it will go on, we have to convince to our parents ki what is the requirement of these small kids to come online for the education. So for that we have to talk to all the parents. We had done so many parenting sessions to convince them that for this nursery kids also you cannot make them idle at home for the 6 months or 8 months or 10 months. They have to come to the screen, they have to talk to their teachers, the other friends, and every, I mean, this learning should go on. We cannot stop the learning because of this coronavirus or pandemic. And how you were asking the questions of demerits and merits, I think there are two, three, according to my experiences, large group was not working. In according to my experiences, if you put 20, 30 students in one online sessions, it was not at all working. One teacher with a small group where the teacher is acquainted with each and every child, and each and every child is getting a chance to speak 2 to 3 times in the 30 minutes or 45-minute session. It should not be a one side learning sessions. The teacher is speaking and the kids are sitting idle and they are just listening to the teachers, because for these kids, this their attention span is very less. It's very, very difficult to hold their interest for the 30 minutes of session. So that is one of the things that we cannot make the group very large. The second thing is you cannot make it the session very long. It should be 30 minutes, max 40 to 45 minutes. These are the two things which worked for us. We have given very, very much importance, and we have talked to all the teachers that you have to talk to each and every child, try to observe each and every child personality, how they are responding to the online sessions, what they are liking, what they are not liking, so that the parents are also in the side of the child. They are also listening to each and every session. So they also feel good that no, the teacher knows each and everything about my child. So this is one of the concepts which worked very nice, and we got very nice feedback from all the parents, and the enrollment also started increasing day by day because of word of mouth. So these are the two things which we handled in a way so that everybody will be get benefited out of this.
That's great to know that how you have been able to overcome the challenges you were facing from parents in their understanding of the new platform. My next question is to Preeti Tyagi, and that relates to how are you going to carry on the learnings that you've had in the past 9 to 10 months and use them even when we go back to our normal functioning? once the schools reopen, what aspects you're going to carry on, which you feel we have discovered in the past 9 to 10 months, and you feel we can very well integrate with our classroom learning once everything gets back to normal.
Right. So there are a lot of learning, I believe, and we still learn every day, as I mentioned earlier. But few things that we would like to integrate once we get back to physical classrooms is that we would use a lot of games and activities which we did with our online classes. To give you an example, if I have to share concepts of big and small, open and close, high and low, or tall and short. So everything is being done with the help of rhymes, music, and expressions, which of course we do in the physical classroom as well. But how innovative can you get when you do not have a whiteboard or a blackboard or a lot of toys with you? That is something which we have learned in the last 8 to 9 months, and that I believe we are definitely going to continue. I'm sure soon when the physical schools reopen for the next session. So that is one, and a very big learning that has helped us during these sessions is that nothing can excite a small child more than playing whatever you're trying to teach through a game, because they have the most curious mind on the planet, the curiosity part. So you would not, I'm not sure, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you might be doing it, but our online class, the Live Connect, we play from hide and seek, and we make it a point that we involve the parent or the grandparent or the elder sibling, whosoever is with the child on the Connect call. We try our best to involve them. So for the first 2 to 3 months, it took us time to get them comfortable. So after I believe from September, we incorporated that every day there is a game, and I cannot tell you how they love it. They look forward to it. Okay, tomorrow what's we're going to do, and every game is it's helping them developing a skill. So my personal say would be that we have learned that we are going to take a lot of outdoor time once we resume the physical schools, because what children learn when they are outdoors and you just give them a lot of natural things to play with, not only the plastic toys. I believe the learning is limitless. It's just amazing, and what all can they create with it is just commendable. So that is the biggest learning. A lot of outdoors, a lot of games without the usual toys that we use in a preschool.
Preeti, I'm actually loving each and every word all of you are saying, because, this is an excellent platform. Asma has given us an excellent platform to exchange ideas and to learn from each other's, ideas and experiences and views. But, like in school industry, we have to follow the times, the schedule very tightly. And I can see that we are nearing the end of this session. So it is time for me to give you that one last question, but I would request you to keep it very short. Since we are among women leaders today, even in the audience, I'm sure Asma has invited the who's who of the industry, even in the audience. I would request each one of you to say a few words of motivation for these women leaders, and any words of inspiration or any advice or suggestion, but just make sure it's very quick so that very soon we can culminate this session. So we begin with Preeti Kawatra. You are not audible. I also do this sometimes, so don't worry.
Okay. Thank you so much, Meenal. First of all, I would like to congratulate Asma, Mr. Chandan, and Mr. Rahul for giving us this opportunity to share our views on this platform, because virtual learning has given us one thing. If you have something with you, kindly share. Let everyone to learn out of this and overcome some obstacle. On this note, because it is about the women's leadership, so I would like to say a true leader is a leader who help others to become the leader, who help others to know their strength so that other person can also help one another person. This way, we all can create a community of good leaders and entrepreneurs, because today's generation need leader. Because if you want to create the leader, you have to be a leader, whether you are a homemaker or you are a professional. Each homemaker, I think a lot more critically than the professional, because she has to manage the whole schedule. Right now, every one of us at home, we all can observe ourselves, and we all can see how much we are working. We are balancing our personal and professional life. But as a leader, last but not the least, every leader has no two life, no professional, no personal. We have a one life. We need to live it to the fullest, and we should enjoy each moment, and we have to see an opportunity in every challenge.
Thank
So
you very much.
all the best to all the women leaders. You are the leaders, born leaders.
Thank you. Sunita Jain.
Yeah. As we can see that in early childhood sector, I think the majority of leaders are women. And I'm really proud of this part of this sector, actually a part of this industry. And as a suggestion, as an advice to all the women edupreneurs available here, like we need to get ready for all the new challenges. We may find many new challenges in the coming time. We need to get prepared for it. We need to adapt that. We need to take proper right action for that. We need to have a close watch in the industry, not only in India, across the globe. We have to keep a watch what is happening across the globe. Second thing is we have to adapt the best practices in no time. We have to take the decisions very quickly. So there are 2-3 points which I want to add, that how we can be as a leader, how we can perform better, and we can prove ourselves, and the sector can go ahead and we can like prove that this is a sector which is very, very important. It's not that it's just for the early childhood, so not important or what. We need to give so much of importance to our leadership, help others, how Preeti also told that we have to help each other, we have to communicate with each other, we need to share ideas with each other so that together we can perform better.
Great. Thank you, Sunita. Moving on to Preeti Tyagi. Can you please share?
Certainly, Meenal. I would echo the thoughts which Preeti and Sunita just shared, and I would like to say the same. Who can motivate someone who has survived last 10 months, staying at home, working from home, managing children, their homework, and a lot of other things without any help? So I don't think they need a motivation, but yes, I think what they just need is just to trust your instinct. Just look within it. You have it already in it you. So just surround yourself with positive people. That's all what you need. I think that's the best any entrepreneur or somebody in the making can do. That's all, and I wish them all the best. And thanks a ton for having us here. Meenal, I believe you're on mute.
You're very well said, Sneha. What are your last words?
So I think just two words that I would love to speak to all the women out there as it's about women leaders. And I think women are born with a lot of capabilities. I mean, that's an unsaid truth. But right now, there are two things that we require the most. That is lots and lots of patience and lots of strength to come out of this situation right now. And I think we're going to come out as a very strong women leader, whether it's the school principals or the teachers out there. You're doing a great job. Whatever that you're doing it absolutely perfectly. So just believe in yourself, and we are going to come out strong out of this situation.
Well, thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of this session. It has truly been a very constructive exchange of experiences, views, and ideas. And I'm sure each one of us, myself included in the audience, also have benefited in some way or the other from these discussions. So I would like to thank all the panel members and want to applaud you all for being such strong leaders, and also the leaders in the audience for patiently listening. You have been wonderful today. And thank you very much, Asma, for inviting all of us and giving us this opportunity for a meaningful and a fruitful discussion. I'm so glad that nowadays we have these online forums through which we can have such constructive dialogue and so many takeaways. So I really congratulate you. And Asma, you don't even realize what you've done today. You have indirectly impacted the lives of lakhs of children. So keep up the good work and congratulations. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of the program today. Thank you very much.
Meenal, I want to say something. There is a one question. If all of us can see in question and answer that they want to know that one report is showing that depression is increasing every day because of the online learning. I would really like to address this question if anybody has an idea, because this is an important question. If some audience is asking this, that means the person is having a problem regarding or he has worry about the children. I think wherever the child is attending online classes, life skill classes are equally important through this medium only, because right now we cannot call the children in the school and we cannot visit the child home also. So I think through online classes only teachers can give the life skill classes, and at the same time a counselor can be a great help to the child. If some specific child is facing this, I think school should play in a front foot and help the child to overcome this problem. But if you are worrying about the class, or if you are worrying about the particular percentage of the population, then life skill classes, a good diet, and what do you call that, meditation will help you a lot. Because to overcome this kind of a problem like depression, holistic approach is very important, and teachers and parents definitely can help the children to overcome this. Thank you.
So I would just want to know if it is, if you're talking about the fact that the child is sad and you're using depression for that, then there's so many ways to pep up the child. You can be with the child, spend quality time, play games as a family, because otherwise we don't get so much time with the children. With work from home happening, you can do so much. But in case it is a clinical depression, then I think they should consult a specialist for it and go ahead. So I'm not very clear what kind of depression they are referring to. But yes, we can, as parents, really pep up the children. These are not easy times. These are strange times. These are unusual times. But I think by spending a wee bit of time with our children, quality time with our children, we can, if not take the role of a teacher, but yes, we can spend and learn how to do creative learning activities with our children. And schools can play a very big role in teaching parents how to be teachers at home. Thank you very much, Preeti, for addressing this issue. And with this, we bring this session to an end. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this session. And thank you, Asma, for inviting all of us for this wonderful session. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest
Thank you,
of
Mr. Chandananand. Thank you, Meena.
Thank you, Meenal ma'am. In fact, a very wonderful session, ma'am, and very nice moderation done by you, Meenal ma'am. Congratulations to you as well. And this is, in fact, a very strong sector of Indian education industry, where Ministry of Education has also included your segment into the mainstream of education now.
Yes.
There's a very important articles and very important points about early childhood has been mentioned under the National Education Policy. And in fact, K-12 segment has been struggling a lot. There are so much of challenges. We are still not clear from the ministry or the regulatory and the authority bodies that when the schools will be reopening, what are the safety and other measures to be taken care of. And again, balancing your expenses, your infrastructure, the salaries, the challenges of getting the fee and all. It's a sleepless journey. It just disturbs the mind. So depression is not only on the online teaching or how to learn, but it is to all and everybody who is involved, and directly or indirectly we got caught under this difficult situation. But these are the kind of forums, ma'am, where we are meeting many a times and discussing what are the innovative ways of sailing across the difficult times. what have you done in your organization? How have you sailed across? And the way we have been listening, witnessing you since the start of the session by our honorable guest of honor, Anjuji, and our special guest, Neetu Bhagatji, the kind of leadership role which they have been seeing, which they have been, and all the leaders you have been doing. So you are doing a remarkable job. In fact, salute to every one of you present over here. And a very important moment is now going to come where we thought this platform should not only be a discussion platform, but should be a felicitation and a recognition platform as well. So hence, with a great observation and a series of many research from last couple of months, we have been doing it, and finally we are with the sheet now. So before this, I would just like to congratulate and give my best wishes to one of the very young leaders among us. And I'm sorry, I'm using this platform to congratulate and giving you best wishes, Sneha, to you. But you are, though one of the youngest leaders among us, but very energetic, very strong in your entrepreneurship and leadership role. I congratulate you and give you my best wishes on the arrival of the most important and most awaited day of your life. So,
Thank you so much, Anvi. Such a pleasure.
Yes.
Congratulations,
Thanks for the beautiful
Sneha.
words.
Congratulations, Sneha, again.